Captain Hyunwoo Kim stood on the bridge of the battlecruiser Indomitable, looking out at the stars. The ship was huge, 800 meters long and filled with the most advanced technology humanity had ever built. But to anyone watching from outside, it looked like just another warship. Hyunwoo read the latest intelligence reports on his tablet. The information made him frown. For the past 3 months, his crew had been gathering data about something called the Galactic Council. This council was a group of 12 different alien species that controlled this part of space. They had been in charge for over 3,000 years. Lieutenant So-Young Park walked up to him with more reports. She was the ship's intelligence officer, and she had been working day and night to understand these aliens. "Captain, you need to see this," So-Young said. She handed him another tablet. "We intercepted more of their communications." Hyunwoo looked at the screen. The messages were translated from various alien languages. What he read made his jaw tighten with anger. The aliens called humans carbon-based vermin and technological scavengers. They said humans were too primitive to deserve space travel. Some messages were even worse, talking about humans like they were insects that needed to be stepped on. "How long have they been talking like this?" Hyunwoo asked. "Ever since we started expanding into this sector, sir. They think we're a joke because we only invented faster-than-light travel 150 years ago. To them, that makes us babies." Hyunwoo walked to the main viewing screen. Out there, somewhere, were alien civilizations that had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. They had built massive empires, fought great wars, and considered themselves the masters of the galaxy. The biggest group in the council were called the Veltari. They looked like living crystals and thought they were the smartest beings in the universe. Their leader was Admiral Zendar, who commanded the council's military forces. Then there were the Morthak, warrior aliens who looked like reptiles but had machines built into their bodies. They were strong and vicious, and they loved to fight. They thought humans were too weak to be worth fighting. The Cylon were different. They could read minds and move things with their thoughts. They believed that mental power was everything, and they looked down on species that couldn't do what they could do. So-Young pulled up more intelligence on her tablet. "Captain, listen to this. Yesterday, the council held a meeting about us. They decided that humans have gone too far by building colonies in what they call their territory." "What did they decide to do about it?" Hyunwoo asked, though he already suspected he knew the answer. "They're putting together what they call a demonstration fleet. 50 warships, sir. They want to make an example of the next human ship they find." Hyunwoo almost laughed. 50 ships to deal with one human vessel? These aliens really did think humans were helpless. The bridge was busy with activity. Navigator Jae Sung-yoon was plotting their course through space. Communications Officer Yoon-ji Kim was monitoring alien radio channels. Weapons Specialist Dong-hyun Shin was checking the ship's weapon systems, though he kept those checks very quiet. "Sir," Yoon-ji called out from her station, "I'm picking up a broadcast on all council frequencies. They're sending a message to all human colonies." "Put it on the main screen," Hyunwoo ordered. The image that appeared showed Admiral Zendar. He looked like a tall figure made of blue and white crystal, with light flowing through his body. When he spoke, his voice sounded like wind blowing through glass. "Attention, human colonies," Zendar said. "You have trespassed on council space for the last time. Your species will immediately abandon all settlements beyond your home system and return to your primitive world. You have 72 hours to comply. Any human vessels found in council space after this time will be destroyed. This is your only warning." The message ended, and the bridge was silent for a moment. 72 hours, Tactical Officer Min-ho Lee said. "That's not enough time to evacuate even one colony." "They don't want us to evacuate," Hyunwoo said quietly. "They want an excuse to attack." So-Young looked at her captain. "Sir, Earth Command sent us new orders an hour ago." She handed him a sealed message pad. Hyunwoo opened the message and read it quickly. Then he read it again more slowly. A small smile appeared on his face. "Well?" So-Young asked. "We're going to proceed with our diplomatic mission," Hyunwoo said. "Earth Command wants us to show the Council what humanity is capable of." The crew exchanged glances. They all knew what that meant. The Indomitable wasn't really just a diplomatic vessel. It was something much more dangerous. Down in the engineering section, Chief Engineer Hee-Jin Choi was running final checks on the ship's systems. The aliens had no idea what they were really looking at when they saw the Indomitable. To their sensors, it looked like a normal human warship with standard armor and weapons. They couldn't see the truth. They couldn't detect the advanced technology hidden inside the ship's hull. They had no idea that humanity had spent the last 150 years preparing for exactly this kind of encounter. "Captain," Jae-sung called from his navigation station, "I've plotted our course to the Kepler 442 system. It's right in the middle of the territory the Council claims. How long to get there?" 3 days at maximum speed, sir." Hyunwoo nodded. "Take us there, and send a message to the Council. Tell them we're coming to talk." Science Officer Ye-jin, CO, looked up from her station. "Captain, are you sure about this? 50 ships against one?" Hyunwoo looked around at his crew. These men and women had trained for years for this moment. Earth's best and brightest, all volunteers for what everyone knew was likely a one-way mission. "The Council thinks we're primitive," he said. "They think we're weak because we're new to space travel. They're about to learn that being new doesn't mean being helpless." The Indomitable turned toward the Kepler 442 system and jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, Earth grew smaller and disappeared. Ahead of them waited 50 alien warships and a confrontation that would change the galaxy forever. In his private quarters that night, Hyunwoo looked at photos of Earth, of the human colonies that the Council wanted to destroy. Children played in those colonies. Families had built new lives among the stars. And now aliens who had never even met a human wanted to wipe them all out, just because they felt like it. The Council was about to learn that humanity didn't give up easily. They were also about to discover that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. 3 days later, the Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light speed near the Kepler 442 system. Captain Hyunwoo Kim stood on his bridge, watching as the stars stopped streaking past the windows and became normal points of light again. "We've arrived, Captain," Navigator Jae Sung-yoon reported. "The system is just ahead." "Any sign of the Council fleet?" Hyunwoo asked. Tactical Officer Min-ho Lee checked his sensors. "Yes, sir. I count 50 ships exactly as intelligence predicted. They're arranged in attack formation around the 4th planet." Hyunwoo nodded. The aliens had been waiting for them. This wasn't a surprise encounter. It was a trap. The Council wanted to destroy a human ship in front of witnesses to send a message to all of humanity. "Sir," Communications Officer Yoon-ji Kim called out. "The alien fleet is moving to surround us. They'll have us completely encircled in about 10 minutes. "Let them," Hyunwoo said calmly. "Continue on our current course." The bridge crew watched their screens as 50 alien warships moved into position around the Indomitable. Some of the ships were huge, much bigger than the human vessel. Others were smaller but looked fast and dangerous. All of them had their weapons pointed at the lone human ship. "Captain," Science Officer Ye-jin Seo said quietly, "I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. Their weapons are much more powerful than anything in our official files." "Noted," Hyunwoo replied. He wasn't worried. Earth's official files were meant for alien eyes as much as human ones. Suddenly, the main screen lit up with an incoming message. The image showed Admiral Zendar, the crystal alien who had sent the warning to human colonies. He looked even more intimidating, in person, with light flowing through his transparent body like liquid fire. "Human vessel," Zendar said, his voice like breaking glass. "You are surrounded and outnumbered 50 to 1. I am Admiral Zendar of the Galactic Council Defense Force. You will surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded." Hyunwoo stepped forward. "Admiral Zendar, I am Captain Hyunwoo Kim of the Terran Federation vessel Indomitable. We come in peace, seeking diplomatic dialogue about the territorial disputes between our species." Zendar's crystalline features twisted into what might have been a smile. It wasn't a pleasant expression. "Diplomatic dialogue? Your species has exactly nothing to negotiate about. You will abandon all colonies in Council space and return to your homeworld. There is no other option." Admiral, surely we can find a peaceful solution that works for everyone, Hyunwoo said. We're not asking for much, just the right to exist, peacefully in a few systems. You ask for the right to breathe our air and drink our water, Zendar snapped. Your species is nothing but carbon-based vermin spreading like a disease across space. We have decided to cut out this disease before it spreads further. Behind the crystal alien, Hyunwoo could see other council species on the bridge of the alien flagship. There was a Morthak warrior with metal implants covering half his reptilian face. A Cylon floated nearby, its large brain visible through transparent skin. All of them looked at the human captain with disgust. Admiral, Hyunwoo tried again, I strongly urge you to reconsider. Attacking a diplomatic vessel would be an act of war against all of humanity. Zendar laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. War? What war could your primitive species possibly wage against us? We have been the masters of this galaxy for 3,000 years. You have been in space for barely more than a century. On the Indomitable's bridge, Tactical Officer Min-Ho Lee quietly reported the situation. Captain, all 50 alien ships have weapons locked on us. Energy readings are off the charts. They're preparing to fire. Weapons Specialist Donghyun Shin checked his own systems. Sir, should I begin charging our defensive systems? Not yet, Hyunwoo said quietly. Let's see how far they're willing to take this. Admiral Zendar was still talking. Your species has exactly 1 minute to surrender, Captain Kim. After that, we will demonstrate to the galaxy what happens to races that dare to challenge Council authority. Admiral, Hyunwoo said, his voice becoming harder, you are threatening the destruction of a diplomatic vessel engaged in peaceful contact. If you follow through with this threat, you will be responsible for starting a war between our species. War? Zendar's voice rose to an angry shriek. There will be no war. There will only be extermination. Your species will be wiped from the galaxy as a lesson to any other primitive races that might think to challenge us. The alien admiral's image moved closer to the screen. You see, Captain, we know all about your species. We know about your tiny fleet, your weak weapons, your fragile ships. We have been watching you since you first crawled out of your home system. You are nothing compared to us. Chief Engineer Hyejin Choi's voice came over the internal communication system from the engine room. Captain, alien scans are still reading us as a standard human battlecruiser. They have no idea what we really are. Understood, Hyunwoo replied, quietly. 30 seconds, Captain Kim, Zendar announced. Surrender now, or burn. Hyunwoo looked around his bridge. Every member of his crew was at their station, ready for what was coming. Navigator Jae Sung-yoon had his hands ready over the ship's maneuvering controls. Communications Officer Yoon-ji Kim was recording everything for transmission back to Earth. Science Officer Ye-jin Seo was monitoring the alien fleet's energy signatures. Admiral Zendar, Hyunwoo said clearly, I hereby formally notify you that any attack on this vessel will be considered an act of war against the Terran Federation. We are prepared to defend ourselves. Defend yourselves? Zendar laughed again. With what? Your pathetic human technology? We have seen your ships, Captain. We know what you are capable of. It is nothing. 10 seconds, the alien admiral shouted. Surrender or be destroyed. Hyunwoo straightened up. Admiral, you have no idea what you're dealing with. Time is up, Zendar screamed. Open fire. Destroy them. On 50 alien ships, weapons officers pressed firing buttons. Energy weapons, plasma cannons, particle beams, and exotic matter torpedoes all fired at once. The space around the Indomitable lit up like a small sun, as enough firepower to destroy a small moon focused on the single human ship. The crew of the DR Indomitable watched calmly as death raced toward them at the speed of light. Here we go, Captain Hyunwoo Kim said quietly. Time to show them what humanity can really do. The massive barrage of alien weapons struck the Indomitable with the force of a dying star. 50 warships firing at once created an explosion of light so bright it could be seen from the edge of the solar system. Energy beams, plasma bolts, and exotic matter torpedoes all hit the human ship at exactly the same moment. Then the light faded and the Indomitable was still there, Not damaged, not even scratched. The ship hung in space exactly where it had been before, as if nothing had happened at all. On the bridge of the alien flagship, Admiral Zendar stared at his screens in complete shock. "Impossible," he shrieked, his crystalline voice cracking with disbelief. "Our sensors show their shields didn't even flicker." The Morthak warrior beside him growled in confusion. "Admiral, that much firepower should have vaporized them instantly. How are they still alive?" "I don't know," Zendar shouted. "Fire again. All ships, maximum power." On the Indomitable's bridge, Captain Hyun-Woo Kim watched the alien fleet prepare for another attack. His crew was calm, almost bored. Tactical. Officer Min-Ho Lee checked his instruments. "Captain, alien weapons registered 0 penetration," Min-Ho reported. "Our metamaterial armor converted their energy directly into our power grid." Chief Engineer Hee-Jin Choi's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. "Sir, we actually gained energy from their attack. All systems are now at 120% power. Should I begin charging the primary weapons?" "Not yet," Hyun-Woo said. "Let's give them one more chance." He activated the ship's communication system. "Admiral Zendar, this is your final warning. Cease hostilities immediately and withdraw your fleet. This is your last opportunity to avoid a tragic mistake." The alien admiral's response was pure rage. "Final warning? You dare threaten us? All ships, fire everything. Destroy that ship." The second barrage was even more intense than the first. The aliens had added antimatter missiles, graviton torpedoes, and quantum disruptors to their attack. The combined firepower was enough to crack a planet's crust. Again, the Indomitable absorbed every shot without taking any damage. "Sir," Science Officer Yejin Seo called out, "the aliens are starting to panic. I'm reading massive spikes in their communication traffic. Some ships are requesting permission to retreat." Weapons Specialist Dong Hyun Shin looked up from his console. "Captain, should I activate our weapon systems? The aliens clearly aren't going to listen to reason." Hyun-Woo Kim stood silent for a moment, thinking about Earth, about the human colonies, about the billions of people depending on what happened here today. Then he nodded. "Authorization code Omega 77, he said clearly. "All weapon systems. Full activation." What happened next would be remembered in alien nightmares for generations to come. The Indomitable began to change. Hull panels all over the ship slid apart, revealing that the vessel was much larger than it appeared. Hidden sections extended outward like the petals of a deadly flower. Weapon ports opened along the ship's entire length. The human ship grew, from 800 meters to nearly 2 kilometers in just a few seconds. Where before it had looked like a simple battle cruiser, now it resembled something from an alien's worst nightmare. A weapon designed by a species that understood war on a level the Council had never imagined. "By the ancient crystals," Admiral Zendar whispered, watching his sensors try to make sense of what they were seeing. "What is that thing?" Dong Hyun Shin's console came alive with weapon options that had been hidden until now. "Captain, all primary systems are online. Quantum disruptors, dimensional rift generators, gravitational singularity projectors, and nanoplague dispensers are ready to fire." "What are our orders, sir?" Min-Ho Lee asked. Hyun-Woo looked at the alien fleet surrounding his ship. 50 vessels, full of beings who had decided that humanity needed to be destroyed simply for existing, who had called his species vermin and disease, who had threatened to exterminate every human in the galaxy. "Target the flagship," he said quietly. "Single shot. Make it count." "Quantum disruptor locked on target," Dong-hyun reported. "Ready to fire." Fire. The Indomitable's main weapon discharged once. There was no visible beam, no flashy energy blast. Instead, a field of absolute nothingness reached out from the human ship toward Admiral Zendar's flagship. The alien battleship simply stopped existing, not destroyed, not blown up, not vaporized. Erased. One moment it was there, a massive vessel, containing 3,000 crew members. The next moment there was only empty space where it had been. The quantum disruptor had deleted the ship from reality at the subatomic level. Every atom that had made up the vessel and everyone inside it had been unraveled back into quantum foam. It was as if the ship had never existed at all. The remaining 49 Council ships hung in space, their crews staring in absolute terror at the empty space where their flagship had been. "Admiral Zendar, please respond," came frantic calls over the alien communication channels. "Admiral, are you there? What happened?" But Admiral Zendar was gone. Not dead, gone. Deleted from existence so completely that there wasn't even wreckage. Left behind. Captain Hyunwoo Kim activated the communication system again. His voice was calm but cold. "Attention, Council Fleet. Your flagship has been neutralized. You opened fire on a diplomatic vessel. You declared war on humanity. You called us vermin and threatened to exterminate our species." He paused, letting his words sink into the terrified alien crews. "Now you will face the consequences of your actions." On the bridge of a Morthak cruiser, the ship's captain was screaming orders at his crew. "Full power to engines, get us out of here." But when he tried to activate his ship's faster-than-light drive, nothing happened. His engines were running, but the ship wasn't moving. "Captain," his navigation officer reported in a shaking voice, "we can't jump to light speed, something is holding us here." The same thing was happening to every ship in the alien fleet. The Indomitable had activated what humans called a space-time anchor, a field that prevented faster-than-light travel. In the surrounding area, the alien ships were trapped. "Unknown vessel," transmitted a terrified Cylon captain. "We withdraw our attack. We mean no harm. Please allow us to leave." Captain Kim's response was ice cold. "You had your chance to leave peacefully. You chose war instead. Now you face humanity's answer to 3,000 years of galactic bullying." The aliens were about to learn that humanity hadn't spent 150 years in space just exploring and building colonies. They had been preparing, studying every alien species, learning their weaknesses, developing weapons specifically, designed to defeat each type of Council technology, and now for the first time they were going to use those weapons. The 49 remaining Council ships hung helplessly in space, trapped by the Indomitable's space-time anchor. Their crews watched in growing terror as the human ship continued its transformation. More weapon ports opened along its hull, revealing technology that looked like nothing they had ever seen before. Captain Hyunwoo Kim stood on his bridge, surrounded by displays showing detailed information about every alien vessel in the trapped fleet. Next to him, Science Officer Yejin Seo pulled up files that humanity had been building for over a century. "Captain," Yejin said, "we have complete biological and technological profiles on all Council species, every weakness, every fear, every way their technology works. We've been preparing for this day since we first learned we weren't alone in the universe." "Show them what we know," Hyunwoo ordered. The Indomitable sent a data burst to every ship in the alien fleet. On their screens appeared detailed information about their own species, information so complete and accurate that it terrified them. The humans knew exactly how Veltari crystal bodies conducted energy. They knew which frequencies would shatter a Veltari into pieces. They knew how Morthak biomechanical implants worked and exactly how to turn those implants against their users. They knew that Cylon telepathic abilities came from a specific part of their brains, and they knew how to shut down that part. For every species in the Council, humanity had developed specific weapons designed to exploit their particular vulnerabilities. "You see," Captain Kim transmitted to the alien fleet, "while you spent 3,000 years believing you were the masters of the galaxy, humanity spent 150 years studying you. We know everything about you. Your biology, your technology, your psychology, your fears." A Morthak ship captain tried to contact the human vessel. "How is this possible? We only made contact with your species 5 years ago." "Official contact," Yejin Seo replied over the communication channel. "We've been watching you for much longer than that. We've intercepted your communications, analyzed your technology, studied your behavior. We know more about you than you know about yourselves." To prove their point, the Indomitable began its demonstration. 3 Morthak cruisers suddenly found their biomechanical systems turning against them. The machines that were supposed to make them stronger began attacking their own bodies. Their cybernetic implants started causing massive pain instead of enhancing their abilities. The warriors screamed as their own technology betrayed them. "Stop," the lead Morthak captain begged. "We surrender." But the demonstration wasn't over. Two Cylon vessels discovered that their telepathic abilities had been turned against them. A psychic dampening field from the Indomitable caused their mental powers to feed back into their own minds. The telepaths writhed in agony as their most precious ability became a source of unbearable torture. The remaining alien ships watched in horror as their most advanced vessels were neutralized by weapons they didn't even understand. Weapons specialist Dong Hyun Shin looked up from his console. "Captain, shall I demonstrate the nanoplague dispensers?" "Just one ship," Hyunwoo said. Something small. A beam shot out from the Indomitable toward a Veltari destroyer. When it hit, tiny machines, each one smaller than a virus, began eating through the ship's crystal hull. The nanobots reproduced themselves using the material they consumed, growing stronger and more numerous with every second. Within minutes, the destroyer was being consumed from the outside in. The crystal aliens inside watched helplessly as their ship was devoured by machines too small to see. "Please," the ship's captain transmitted. "Call them off. We'll do anything." The nanobots stopped immediately, leaving the destroyer half-eaten, but still functional. The aliens inside were alive but trapped in a ship that was now mostly empty space. "Each weapon we've shown you was designed specifically for your species," Captain Kim explained to the terrified fleet. "We have different weapons for each type of alien. We've spent decades perfecting them." Navigator Jae Sung-yoon brought up tactical displays showing the positions of every remaining ship. "Captain, 5 vessels are attempting to send distress signals to their home worlds." "Let them," Hyunwoo said. "The galaxy needs to know what happened here." Communications officer Yoonji Kim was monitoring alien channels across known space. "Sir, word is already spreading. I'm picking up emergency broadcasts from Council worlds. Some species are evacuating their border colonies." The demonstration continued. The Indomitable showed off weapons that could manipulate time, creating temporal loops that trapped alien ships in moments of destruction that repeated forever. Other weapons opened doorways to different dimensions, banishing ships to empty universes where they would drift alone until their crews died of old age. Most terrifying of all were the consciousness transfer inhibitors. These weapons didn't destroy alien bodies. They trapped the aliens' souls inside their own corpses as they died, forcing them to experience death over and over again, without being able to escape into whatever afterlife their species believed. "Stop!" screamed a Cylon commander. "This is madness. How can you be so cruel?" "Cruel?" Captain Kim's voice was ice cold. "You came here to exterminate my entire species. You called us vermin and disease. You fired on a diplomatic vessel. You started this war and now you complain that we're fighting it effectively?" Science officer Yejin Seo transmitted more data to the alien fleet. "These are just our conventional weapons," she announced. "Would you like to see our experimental systems? We have devices that can erase entire star systems from history. Weapons that can make your species forget how to reproduce. Machines that can rewrite the laws of physics in small areas of space." The aliens fell silent. Even the most aggressive Council species were beginning to understand that they had made a terrible mistake. "We also have defensive technologies you can't imagine," Yejin continued. "Our ships can exist in multiple dimensions at once. We can hide entire fleets in pocket universes. We can create artificial black holes to protect our colonies." Tactical Officer Min-ho Lee updated his displays. "Captain, 12 ships remain, fully operational. The rest are either destroyed, disabled, or trapped in various ways." "And our own status?" 100% operational, sir. We've taken no damage and used less than 5% of our total weapons capacity. The remaining functional alien ships hung in space like frightened animals. Their crews had gone from supreme confidence to absolute terror in less than an hour. The galaxy's most powerful military force had been reduced to helpless victims by a single human vessel. "This is impossible," whispered a Veltari science officer on one of the surviving ships. "How did a species so young become so powerful?" Captain Kim answered as if he had heard the question. "You assumed that being new to space travel made us weak. You were wrong. Being new meant we had to be better than you just to survive." While you grew comfortable in your superiority, we prepared for war. The message was clear. Humanity had spent its entire time in space getting ready for this exact moment. Every human ship, every human colony, every human citizen was part of a vast machine designed for one purpose: to ensure that humanity would never be destroyed by alien aggression. The Council had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. That rule was ending today. Captain Hyunwoo Kim looked at the 12 remaining functional alien ships floating helplessly around the Indomitable. The rest of the Council fleet was either destroyed, disabled, or trapped in various forms of technological nightmare. The demonstration was complete. "Attention, surviving vessels," he transmitted. "You came here to destroy humanity. Instead, you have learned that humanity is not as helpless as you believed. Now I'm going to give you a choice." The alien crews listened in terrified silence. "You can return to your homeworlds and tell them what you witnessed here today. Tell them that humanity offers peace to those who respect us, but total destruction to those who threaten us. Or you can stay here and join your flagship in non-existence." The choice was obvious. Within minutes, every surviving alien captain was begging to be allowed to leave. "Please," transmitted a Veltari commander, "release our ships. We will carry your message to the Council worlds. We promise there will be no more aggression against humanity." Captain Kim nodded to his crew. "Deactivate the space-time anchor, let them go." The Indomitable's field generators powered down, and suddenly the alien ships could move again. One by one, they fled toward their home systems, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. As the last alien ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel, Communications Officer Yoonji Kim began receiving messages from across known space. "Captain, I'm picking up emergency broadcasts from over 30 star systems. The news is spreading faster than the ships can carry it." "What are they saying?" Hyunwoo asked. "Council species are evacuating border worlds, sir. Some are requesting immediate peace negotiations with humanity. Others are asking for our protection against other Council species." The galaxy was in chaos. The news that a single human ship had destroyed the Council's demonstration fleet was spreading like wildfire. Species that had been enemies for centuries were now competing to see who could surrender to humanity first. 3 weeks later, Admiral Ji-hoo Park arrived at Earth's orbital command station to meet with Captain Kim. Ji-hoo was So-young Park's father and one of Earth's most senior military commanders. He brought news from across human space. "The Council has officially dissolved," Ji-hoo reported as they sat in the station's observation deck, looking out at Earth below. 12 species, 3,000 years of alliance ended by one engagement lasting 18 minutes. "What about their individual governments?" Hyunwoo asked. "Most are trying to join us now. The Veltari have offered us their crystal computing technology. They say it's a gift to show their respect for humanity's superior intellect." Hyunwoo almost smiled. A month ago, these same aliens had called humans too primitive to deserve space travel. "The Morthak are even more interesting," Ji-hoo continued. "Their warrior culture actually respects what we did. They're offering to serve as human military auxiliaries. They want to learn from the species that defeated them so completely." "And the others?" Similar stories across the board. "The Cylon are offering to teach us their telepathic techniques. The remaining Council species are competing to see who can offer humanity the most valuable tribute." Through the observation deck's windows, they could see human ships coming and going from Earth's orbital facilities. But now those ships were escorted by alien vessels, former enemies now serving as guards and guides. Science Officer Yejin Seo had been promoted to Admiral and was now in charge of humanity's Xenotechnology Research Division. She joined the meeting with reports on humanity's expanding capabilities. "Captain Kim," she said, "the alien technologies we've acquired in the past 3 weeks have accelerated our development by decades. We're already building ships that make the Indomitable look primitive." "Show me," Hyunwoo said. Yejin activated a holographic display showing the blueprints for humanity's next generation of vessels. The new ships were massive, incorporating technology from a dozen different alien species. They had weapons that could destroy entire fleets, defenses that made them nearly invulnerable, and engines that could cross the galaxy in days instead of months. We're calling them sovereign-class vessels, Yejin explained. Each one is powerful, enough to control an entire star system. We're planning to build 50 of them. Chief Engineer Hye-Jin Choi had also been promoted and now ran humanity's most advanced shipyards. Captain, we're not just building warships anymore. We're constructing habitats around stars, engineering planets to be more suitable for human life and developing technology that will let us reshape the galaxy itself. The scope of humanity's ambitions was breathtaking. In just a few months, they had gone from a small collection of colonies to the galaxy's dominant power. What about the colonies that the Council wanted us to abandon? Hyunwoo asked. They're expanding rapidly, Admiral Jihu reported. We've received requests from over 200 star systems asking for human colonies to be established in their territory. Former Council worlds are begging us to move in and provide protection. The reversal was complete. Where once alien species had demanded that humanity retreat to Earth, now they were competing to have humans settle in their systems. Captain Kim walked to the observation deck's main window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien ambassadors were waiting in long lines outside human diplomatic facilities. Former Council military officers were applying to serve in human fleets. Alien scientists were begging for permission to study human technology. Sir, Communications Officer Yoonji Kim called from her station. I'm receiving a priority message from the frontier. Our deep space exploration fleets have made contact with several new alien species beyond Council territory. What's their response to finding humans? They're asking to join us immediately, sir. Word has spread even beyond the galaxy's edge. Everyone knows that humanity is the new dominant power. The transformation was remarkable. In just 18 minutes of combat, humanity had gone from being dismissed as primitive vermin to being feared and respected as the galaxy's apex predators. Captain, Admiral Yejin said, there's something else you should know. Our xenoarchaeology. Teams have been studying ruins from extinct civilizations. We've found evidence that at least 6 previous species tried to challenge the Council over the past 3,000 years. What happened to them? The Council exterminated them completely. Not just their governments or their military, their entire species were wiped from existence. We're talking about the deaths of trillions of beings. Hyunwoo's expression hardened. So we didn't just defend ourselves, we stopped a genocide machine. Exactly. The Council had been systematically destroying any species that showed signs of becoming powerful enough to challenge them. If we hadn't stopped them, they would have eventually come for Earth itself. As the meeting ended, Captain Kim returned to the observation deck alone. Below him, Earth continued its ancient rotation, blue and green and beautiful. Above him, the stars waited. Humanity's message was now echoing across the galaxy, transmitted by the very aliens who had once sought to destroy them. Join us willingly, or be conquered. The choice is yours. The galaxy had a new set of masters, and they were human. But unlike the Council, humanity offered something different. Where the aliens had ruled through fear and oppression, humans offered partnership to those who proved themselves worthy. Where the Council had destroyed potential rivals, humanity sought to uplift and integrate new allies. The age of alien domination was over. The age of humanity had begun, and it would be an age unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen before.